A man stole $300 million, then posted the evidence on Instagram for 2.8 million followers to admire. Rolls-Royces, private jets, Dubai penthouses, all of it public. The FBI did not need a sting operation. They just followed him online. His name was Ramon Abbas. The internet knew him as Hush Puppy. But this is not really a story about one criminal showing off. It is a story about the system that made him think he could. Today we are tracing how one man built a $300 million laundering operation, who enabled it, who profited from looking the other way, and what his story reveals about the infrastructure that moves dirty money through the same banking system your salary runs through. But first you need to understand where Abbas came from, because the place explains the person. Abbas grew up in Oranchoki, a low-income neighborhood in Lagos. Not the Lagos of luxury apartments on Banana Island or high-end restaurants in Victoria Island. The Lagos of open gutters, shared rooms, and an economy that offers young men roughly two visible paths upward: leave or hustle. Abbas chose a third path, one that would make him one of the most recognized faces in West African internet culture before most people understood what he actually did for a living. His early social media presence showed a young man with expensive taste and no visible income. In Lagos, that image is instantly recognizable. The culture even has a term for it: big boy. Someone whose wealth appears from thin air and whose social currency is measured almost entirely by the appearance of success. The big boy phenomenon is not random. Nigeria's youth unemployment rate exceeds 25%. Politicians display wealth openly while public infrastructure crumbles. The message absorbed by a generation of young men in neighborhoods like Oranchoki is simple. Legitimate paths to prosperity are either closed or painfully slow. Illegitimate ones are visible, celebrated, and often appear consequence-free, at least until they are not. By 2016, Abbas had relocated to Dubai. His Instagram became a curated gallery of excess: Rolls-Royce Wraith, Richard Mille watches, first-class Emirates flights, hotel suites costing more per night than the average Nigerian earns in a year. He tagged designers, he tagged celebrities, he built a brand around being rich. And 2.8 million people watched. The obvious question, the one investigators were asking as well, was where the money came from. Abbas had no registered business, no corporate affiliations, no family wealth, no employment history that could explain millions spent every year. And yet he did not hide. He amplified. Which means either he was reckless or the money was coming from somewhere that made him feel untouchable. It was the second thing. The answer was business email compromise. BEC is not the Nigerian prince email most people imagine. That was the crude scam from the early 2000s. BEC is its far more sophisticated successor. The FBI reported that BEC schemes generated more than $2.7 billion in losses in 2022 alone. It is the single most financially damaging category of cybercrime in the United States. The mechanics are precise but simple. An operation identifies a company preparing to make a large payment. The scammers research who approves wires. They study how those people write emails, sometimes for weeks. Eventually, they compromise or convincingly spoof the executive's account. Then they send one email, a simple instruction to someone in finance telling them to wire funds to a new account because the vendor's bank details have changed or a deal is closing urgently. It looks legitimate because the scammers have spent weeks studying exactly how legitimate emails from that person look. Once the wire goes out, the money fragments across accounts in multiple countries within hours. By the time the victim realizes something went wrong, it is already gone. Abbas was not the technical architect. His role, according to court documents, was laundering. He provided accounts, facilitated transfers, and cleaned the proceeds. He was the man who turned stolen wire transfers into Rolls-Royces. The victims were not gullible amateurs. They were professionals working at reputable companies who believed that an email from their CEO was actually from their CEO. BEC exploits trust, not stupidity. That is why it works. And the scale of Abbas's operation turned out to be larger than almost anyone expected. Court filings documented Abbas's involvement in schemes targeting a New York law firm for $922,000, a British Premier League football club for £100 million in a failed attempt, which, if you are keeping score, would have made it the most expensive email in football history. A scheme that stole $14.7 million intended for building a school in Qatar, and funds meant to finance COVID-19 ventilators, a detail that even prosecutors seem to find unusually cold-blooded. Total amount Abbas personally conspired to launder, according to the Department of Justice, more than $300 million. Then there is the part that sounds like fiction. Court documents revealed Abbas helped launder proceeds from a cyber heist carried out by a North Korean state-sponsored hacker, a Lagos-born Instagram influencer living in Dubai laundering money for Pyongyang. That sounds like a plot that would get rejected for being unrealistic, but it was real. The global cybercrime ecosystem is that interconnected. National borders are suggestions. Money does not have a passport, and it does not need one. Throughout all of this, Abbas kept posting. Every day. Sometimes several times a day. New outfits, new cars, new locations. At one point, he posted a photo of himself in a bathrobe standing beside a Rolls-Royce with the caption, "Big dog with a big log." The man was laundering money for North Korea and posting bathroom selfies with luxury cars. Which raises the question almost everyone asks. Why? Why would a $300 million criminal operation advertise itself every day to 2.8 million followers, including law enforcement? The answer is not stupidity. It is something more interesting and more disturbing. Abbas was not using social media despite being a criminal. He was committing crimes in order to use social media. The validation loop worked in one direction. Steal money, buy visible luxury, post visible luxury, receive admiration. Then repeat. Remove the admiration and the entire engine stops. The fraud was the means. The attention was the end. Money laundering as a discipline is built on invisibility. Abbas was the most visible criminal in the world. He ran a $300 million operation with almost no operational security because operational security requires silence. And silence was the one thing he could not do. He knew investigators were watching. He knew Dubai police were watching. He could not stop. The likes were worth more to him than his freedom. That is not stupidity. That is addiction. And the platform was the dealer. But Abbas did not operate alone. He operated inside an ecosystem of institutions that either benefited from his activity or had no strong incentive to stop it. And that ecosystem still exists. Start with Dubai. The UAE has historically maintained a regulatory environment polished on the surface but permissive underneath. Dubai's real estate market, free zones, and banking sector have repeatedly been flagged by the Financial Action Task Force as conduits for laundering. The city attracts wealth that does not want to explain where it came from. Abbas fit perfectly into that environment. Instagram never suspended Abbas's account despite terms of service that theoretically prohibit displaying criminal proceeds. His account disappeared only after his arrest. For years, the algorithm treated his content exactly like any other high-engagement lifestyle content. Because the platform cannot distinguish between a legitimate luxury influencer and a money launderer with good lighting. It only sees engagement. Engagement is engagement. Ad revenue is ad revenue. The correspondent banking network allowed international transfers to move rapidly across jurisdictions. The same speed that makes modern banking convenient is the speed that makes BEC fraud effective. By the time a suspicious payment is flagged, the money has already been fragmented across accounts in multiple countries. And then there is the luxury industry. Dealers sold Abbas Rolls-Royces, watches, and designer clothing without asking many questions, because luxury retail rarely asks questions. A man paying cash for a Rolls-Royce in Dubai is not interrogated about his income. He is offered a drink and shown the options. Abbas was the loudest node in a system full of quieter ones. He got caught because he was visible. The ecosystem that enabled him remains invisible. and profitable. If that just reframed how you think about cybercrime, subscribe and drop a comment telling me what you want investigated next. Now, Abbas was loud, but the system around him was patient, and eventually patience won. June 10th, 2020. Dubai police, working with the FBI, raided Abbas's apartment in an operation called Fox Hunt 2. 13 luxury cars were seized, cash, phones, laptops. A penthouse filled with designer goods. He was extradited to the United States in July 2020. He pleaded guilty in July 2021. In November 2022, he was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison. He was also ordered to pay $1.7 million in restitution. That restitution figure is revealing. $1.7 million compared with $300 million in laundering activity. Almost nothing was recovered. The Rolls Royces were seized, the watches were seized, but the vast majority of the money had already dispersed through a network so fragmented that recovery was nearly impossible. The law firm employee in New York who approved that $922,000 wire, the school in Qatar that was never built, the ventilator funds that never reached hospitals, all collateral damage. Abbas received 11 years. His victims received nothing back, and his followers received entertainment. For every Abbas who gets caught because he cannot stop posting, there are thousands who operate silently. They do not buy Rolls Royces. They do not tag Versace. They simply work, and they're very good at it. Which brings us back to where Abbas came from, because Nigeria's relationship with this story is more complicated than headlines suggest. Among many young Nigerians, especially those from places like Oron-Shoki, reactions to Abbas's arrest were complicated. Not sympathy for the crimes themselves, but recognition of the aspiration. In a country with 25% youth unemployment and visible political corruption, Abbas represented a perverse form of success. He got out, he got rich, he got seen. The method was criminal, but the result was everything the legitimate economy had failed to provide. That does not excuse the fraud. It explains the ecosystem that produces it. BEC operations require language skills, research ability, social engineering talent, and patience. In another environment, those are the exact skills that power careers in sales, consulting, marketing, or technology. The skills exist. The opportunities often do not. Not at the scale required. Not in an economy where a university graduate might wait years for a formal job, paying less than a successful scam can generate in a week. BEC losses globally have exceeded $50 billion over the last decade. Insurance products covering social engineering fraud have become one of the fastest-growing segments of commercial insurance. The financial system has priced the risk. It has not solved it. Ramon Abbas is now in federal prison. He will be in his early 40s when he is released. His Instagram is gone, his cars are gone, his penthouse is gone. At one point, $300 million flowed through his hands. He could have disappeared. He could have lived quietly in countries with weak extradition treaties and comfortable climates. He could have laundered money for decades if he had simply stopped posting. He could not stop. The money was never the point. The money was raw material. What he really wanted was the image of wealth. The image of a man from Oron-Shoki who made the world watch him. The FBI did not catch Hush Puppy through a sophisticated sting. They caught him because he could not stop telling everyone what he was doing. A $300 million criminal enterprise undone by the one thing he refused to give up: silence.